recent college graduates are now 26% more likely to be unemployed than the average American, according to this study. That's a complete inversion of a 40-year trend. For decades, a degree was a shield against unemployment. That rule just broke. And if you're a recent graduate struggling to find work, months of waiting, no response. Is it your resume? Your lack of experience? No? It's not just you. Caitlin graduated from university. 647 job applications later, she finally got one offer. Even elite universities see their graduates unemployed after graduation. That's it. We're at the point where AI is getting good enough to do the tasks juniors used to do. At least, that's the obvious culprit. But there's more to this story. The phenomenon happening right now that nobody could have foreseen is the ghost jobs epidemic. A massive portion of the jobs you're applying to were never real in the first place. Why are companies posting fake job listings? And more importantly, why is the number exploding right now? In this video, you'll understand the real scale of the job market crisis and why no one is stopping it. Welcome to the first employment crisis of the AI era. Okay, first, we need to look at three forces that converged at once. Each one would be difficult on its own, but together, they created a perfect storm. For decades, one economic rule held steady: get a degree and you're safer from unemployment than the general population, always. That rule just broke. In 2019, the US had roughly 6.3 million unemployed people. Recent grads accounted for 490,000 of them, about 3.25%. By 2025, total unemployment climbed to 7.2 million people, a 14% increase. But recent graduates went from 490,000 to 690,000 unemployed. That's a 40% jump. They bore the burden of the labor market deterioration. Even elite universities, places that used to guarantee a job, now see 25% of their graduates unemployed after graduation. If the top tier is struggling, no one is spared. So this isn't about you. The market fundamentally changed. Why? What happened? Before 2022, AI was a toy. Impressive demos, limited real-world use. But 4 years later, it crossed the threshold. It can now handle basic cognitive tasks convincingly. Analysis, reporting, simple code, customer service scripts, all the tasks that juniors used to do. Salesforce announced 0 software engineer hires for 2025. Duolingo only hires for roles AI can't fill yet. The HR website ZipRecruiter shows that only 2.5% of job postings are now for entry-level roles. Entry-level positions are vanishing because AI can handle 60 to 80% of their tasks at a fraction of the cost. But AI also created an unexpected crisis, a crisis of trust. When AI can produce work that looks professional, polished, convincing, how do you prove that you did the work? This isn't theoretical. Starting with our BlackLine YouTube channel, we spend weeks planning, researching, scripting, shooting, and editing each video. There are researchers, writers working with me so we can shoot this properly. Yet, I often get comments accusing the script or myself of being entirely AI generated. Well, AI is just a help, and I'm sure as hell that we are a human team working on all of this. But when human effort becomes indistinguishable from AI output, how do you prove your value? Companies feel the same appeal. Why don't we just ask an AI to do the job? But AI alone doesn't explain why recent grads specifically are hit this hard. There's a second force at play. During the pandemic, companies went on a hiring spree. Remote work, stimulus money, everyone was hiring. Then 2022 hit. Correction. 2023 saw massive tech layoffs. Meta, Google, Amazon cut 264,000 tech workers. You've probably seen the same headlines continue into 2025. Tech layoffs persist. Job cuts continue. And yes, 2025 saw 122,000 tech workers laid off. But here's what changed. That's less than half of the 264,000 cut in 2023. The mass layoff wave peaked, and it's declining. But the hiring freeze got worse. Companies learned they could operate with fewer people, so they stopped refilling positions. We entered what the Federal Reserve Chair called a low hiring, low firing economy. Companies aren't mass firing anymore, but they're not hiring either. The new economic reality is uncertainty, tariff concerns, interest rate volatility, unstable geopolitics. Companies are waiting. And when companies freeze hiring in uncertainty, what gets cut first? David Deming, Harvard economist, put it bluntly: young workers are seen as an investment, like capital, and in uncertain times, investments are the first thing a business cuts back on. So the post-pandemic market never stabilized. AI eliminates entry-level roles. The economy freezes hiring. Three forces converging at once. The result is a real shortage of entry-level positions. Hundreds of candidates competing for a single real job opening. The market has collapsed for this generation. But wait, something doesn't add up. If companies truly aren't hiring, why are job boards flooded with new positions? It turns out there are 4 key drivers behind this trend. And fortunately, there are also 2 pitfalls that could invert this terrible trend on the job market. In June 2025, US companies posted 7.4 million job openings, but they actually hired 5.2 million people. Do the math. 2.2 million job postings that month led to nothing. That's what's called ghost jobs. And that's not an anomaly. It's happening every single month. 1/3 of the jobs you see posted were never meant to hire anyone. Companies admit it. 40% of employers surveyed confess they posted at least one fake job listing in the past year. If your hundreds of applications had no response, it's because a significant portion were never real open positions in the first place. So why? Why would companies deliberately post fake jobs? Well, companies aren't hiring, but they don't want anyone to know that. According to a Congress report, 43% of companies post ghost jobs specifically to give the impression that they're growing. Think about the signal it sends. Investors see "we're hiring" and think growth, expansion, confidence. Clients see team expanding and think stability, capacity, reliability. Competitors see they're recruiting and think of strength, momentum, market share. In a crisis, the appearance of health becomes more important than actual health. It's theater, but it works. But it's not only for external optics. In this economic context, teams are overloaded. People work twice as hard as no one is being hired, so burnouts are rising. The Congress report also mentions that companies post ghost jobs to make employees believe that help is coming. The implicit message is clear: we're hiring, just hold on a bit longer. Relief is on the way. Employees see job postings and assume management is trying to fix the workload problem. So they keep grinding, they don't quit. But the reality is different. No intention to hire, it's just to manage morale. Ghost jobs serve as a pressure valve for internal tensions, and it works. 77% of companies report increased productivity thanks to ghost job posting. Now here's the systemic incentive that makes them think it's a good idea. The system rewards short-term thinking. Companies optimize for Wall Street, and Wall Street rewards these short-term choices. When a company announces we're reducing headcount by 15%, Wall Street sees an unhealthy company. Why? Because it signals not enough growth to hire. The stock price dives immediately. But when a company announces we're investing heavily in AI strategies, it attracts investors. Because Wall Street sees this company is preparing for the future, it will be more efficient. So imagine a company that says, we're replacing 500 juniors with AI. It sends the perfect message. Cost reduction plus modernization, double bonus for the stock. Nobody's cutting the fuses because the system rewards lighting them. But imagine such a company in 10 years. At the top, current leaders now 60 to 70 years old. In the middle, a competent middle management, 40 to 50 years old. At the bottom, nobody. 0 juniors hired for 5 to 7 years. No apprentices who become seniors. No one learning the ropes. Some sectors already see this happening. But who's taking over when the current generation retires? Who? This is what economists call a diamond structure. Wide at the top and middle, empty at the bottom. Unstable by definition. It's an obvious time bomb, but they will realize this way too late. But 55% of companies that replaced humans with AI already regret it. And I think it's a good thing for the job market because AI makes mistakes. You can't just let it run wild. You need qualified humans to supervise it. What they realize is that AI shouldn't replace juniors. It should augment them. automate the repetitive tasks so juniors can focus on high-value learning. At BlackLine, we've understood something fundamental about the era we are entering in. When we automate account reconciliations with our AI, we teach junior accountants how to use these tools. The junior who used to spend 80% of their time on repetitive Excel work now spends 80% of their time analyzing discrepancies, understanding patterns, and making decisions. They level up twice as fast, and now they consider their job to be even more exciting. And in 5 years, that junior has become a senior who knows how to pilot AI and does not fear to be replaced by it. That's the real value in today's market. Not mastering tasks AI can already do, but mastering how to use AI to do what it can't do on its own. This is why we're committed to transparent, human-piloted AI, because the companies that figure this out now, the ones that invest in AI-augmented humans rather than AI-replaced humans, they're the ones who will still have leaders in 10 years. The current strategy, cutting juniors and posting ghost jobs, is pure short-termism. But it's going to settle, not because AI will disappear, but because companies will realize they need workers, but skilled workers who know how to use AI. We're at the beginning of a transition toward a more responsible model. It will take time. There will probably be a difficult period ahead, but the direction is starting to take shape. In the meantime, concretely, what do you do during this period? You're the first generation facing the employment crisis of the AI era. You didn't fail, the system changed faster than the advice you were given. Understanding what's happening is already taking back power. You're no longer fighting an invisible enemy. 1. Train yourself on AI tools. Companies are looking for people who know how to work with AI. 2. Build visible projects. Portfolio, GitHub, LinkedIn. Document what you're trying to do. It will become your advantage. 3. Target companies that continue to invest in juniors despite the crisis. The ones with long-term vision. You can't change the market, but you can change your position in that market. It's going to be tough for a while longer, but those who adapt now, who learn AI, who position themselves intelligently, will be exactly what companies are looking for when they realize their mistake. Adaptation over fear. Another area nobody expected to change like this because of AI is online shopping. Did you know AI could literally shop on your behalf? We investigated that in this video, and I can't stress it enough. Beware.